Hi guys. The company sent me a couple of these automotive under the hood fire extinguishers. The product is called Fireman, and it's produced by Vanon, if I'm correctly pronouncing the information here. Nice small packaging here. I'm going to be opening up one, which I already have, but I'll be installing one of these kits on my vehicle, on my E34 turbocharged engine. There's two pods like this, and there's a thermal cable that connects both of these pods together. Here's the length of the cable. It's actually quite long. Again, you'll see me installing it on my vehicle. The goal is to install it via magnetic base, or you can also take these magnets off and put two-sided tape on here, and then mount it under the vehicle, under the hood, inside the engine bay, facing up. So you want these perforated holes to face up. So if and when this thermal couple or cable gets hot, it ignites the charge that's under here, and then these pores open, and the extinguishing gases come out, which displaces the air underneath the engine bay or in the engine bay, and it also lowers the underhood temperatures, which both of which should put the fire out. There is a link in the description for a demonstration video. Since they only sent me two products, I will be giving one of them away, and I'm not going to set off the second charge, since, like I said, I would like to keep this on my vehicle for future use, just in case, because, like I said, I wouldn't mind having something that could prevent a fire or put a fire out on my turbocharged vehicle, because I am starting to push it more and more in terms of driving it more aggressively. So more heat, more chance of fire. It's an older vehicle. If fuel hoses rupture, or if I have electrical problems with wiring, and if a fire does occur, I wouldn't mind having something under the hood that is self-sufficient in terms of gets turned on by itself without me having to run to the back of the car trying to find a fire extinguisher, pop the hood, and then put out a fire. So this definitely sounds like a very cool invention and safety equipment in terms of having in the vehicle to help prevent a car from burning down. So anyways, next part of this video, you'll see me installing it on my car, and then we'll just have to stay tuned in the future, you know, you guys as well as myself, to see what happens, whether or not a fire occurs, and if it can put it out. And because, like I said, I only got two of these sent to me, I don't just want to waste one by setting it off, you know, because again, it's all self-explanatory. You can see the video, the demonstration video, in the link of the description of how it works. The company has already made a video showcasing how it works, how it functions. So there's no real need for me to waste one of these to set it off, you know, just so you guys can see it go poof. So anyways, following video will be me installing it, and after that, like I said, you'll have to keep tuned to my channel to see if anything happened in terms of the car, electrical fires or fuel fire or whatnot. And I would be making a video anyways if in case that happened, and to let you guys know whether or not it actually saved the engine from burning down. Okay, so here's the Fireman safety kit or fire extinguisher kit, made by Vanon, or at least I think that's the company that it's made by. Again, link is in the description. Here, Vanon. Obviously, the instructions 1, 2, 3. The working principle and notices, and here's the diagram of overview and where to plug it in, how to plug it in. It does come with the 3M masking tape. I didn't see that initially. So here's the one pod, here's the other. So it does have 3M masking tape if you prefer to stick it rather than use magnets. And this is the thermal cord and it is fairly long. That's a good 6 feet long. So the trick is to mount these. They say they're to mount it in an upright position so that these guys face up. Not every engine bay will obviously be the same. So depending on your engine, you may have to place it in certain locations that work better for you than it would for me. I'm already sort of worried of where I would be able to put this because I don't really see too much of an area that would be accessible. The tower is here. It might actually sit okay here, maybe facing down this way. And like I said, ideally you want it facing up, but I think I might just go with something like this because mounting it like this might interfere with the hood. And I'm worried about the other side. Actually, I have two magnets, and there's one magnet here. Oh, there's the other magnet. I'm worried more about this side here because of the fact that there's all this heat. The point of the thermal cable, this actually might be a good spot right here. This is the HID unit for my HID lights. This might actually be okay. It's slightly at an angle, but it's okay, and it'll probably be better than this. So I think this might be a good spot. When it does blow, it blows up against the hood here, and then it spreads across. If it happens on a running engine, obviously this is the air intake. A lot of this will go into the intake. That's the only other thing that I would be worried about. But then again, you know, what's better, a bit of internal component engine damage or a complete burn down of the engine due to a fire that's not stopped? So I think I'm going to live with, you know, the potential consequences of this being sucked into here. The cord comes with tie straps so that you can secure it after you have routed the cable. So the idea is to plug in this thermal cable. I think that's all you need right here. And it's self-locking. And then it's just a matter of routing the thermal cable. And what I'm going to do is to route it slightly away from the exhaust at this point, probably this way, and then towards over here, probably closer to the engine again. Somewhere along here, and then over on this side, maybe I will use something similar here. Maybe have it pointing in that direction. That seems a little bit loose, so what I might do is actually use this double-sided tape and stick it on here rather than use the magnets, and maybe do the same thing on that side, because I think engine vibration will loosen that off, or can potentially loosen it. So I won't bore you with too much detail here in terms of how. I will give you a follow-up once I've finalized it, so that you can see what I did, but I think this is going to be the arrangement. I'm going to leave that one pointing up. I'm going to leave this one pointing that direction. I could put it down here. No, I think this is okay like this. Again, as long as you follow instructions, you can't go wrong. Do what you have to, or what works best in your mind on your engine. And again, I'll show you when I finalize this one. Okay, so here's the finished product. Didn't really take much time considering where to put it. Like I said, it's a fairly crowded engine bay, and I am somewhat limited. Other vehicles might have way more options than I have, but I've got the one pod here, and again, they're supposed to be pointed up so that the dispersant hits the hood and then it disperses. That'll happen on this side, not so much on this side. But time will tell what happens if and when I do have a underhood fire. Hopefully not, but if I do, like I said, this will hopefully help diminish the severity of the fire. So I routed the thermal cable along this way. There's a bit of wiring over here that if I have wiring problems or fire on this side, this will pick it up. So anywhere along the line where this thermal cable gets to a specific temperature due to the fire, that'll set off both pods. You can have a fire over here, but both pods will be set off. So anyways, the cable runs along here. Tied it over here in case there is an injector fire here. The heat will come up and hit the thermal cable. The only place I'm worried about is over here because of the exhaust, but I don't think it'll get too hot to the point of ignition for this thermal cable. Time will tell, obviously. And then I secured it along the wiring harness over here. Sorry, my glasses weren't charged up. I had to add my battery pack. YouTube life. So anyways, thermal cable I ran along here. So I'm trying to cover as much of the engine as possible. Again, it doesn't matter where the thermocouple catches fire, both pods will be activated. By catch fire, I think it just needs to get hot to a certain temperature. And I wish I could demonstrate it with the lighter, but they only sent me 2 products. I would like to have one on my car and the other one I'm giving away, so there goes that idea then. So the only place that I'm really worried about is over here where the exhaust manifold is, but I don't think temperatures are going to get to the point of ignition simply from the exhaust flow. And bear in mind, while I'm driving, there's coolant fan operation. Air is being blown that way. Air is being drawn through this way from the vehicle moving forward. Air underneath is being moved from driving forward, and there's probably a suction effect as well that happens. So a lot of this heat probably gets drawn downwards. One of these days maybe I will add a underhood temperature sensor so that I can monitor underhood temperature. I do also want to add a pyrometer to measure exhaust gas temperature. Ideally you want to measure that before the turbo, but after the turbo is also not a bad place. So anyways, that's my installation of this underhood fire extinguisher kit. Thanks again to the company for sending it to me. Auto Fireman by Vanon. The link is in the description. They have an Indiegogo fundraising campaign where they're raising money to bring this to market. Again, this is a fairly new company. I wish them all the luck. This is a great idea in terms of safety to have on the vehicle that requires no user input aside from mounting. Once mounted, peace of mind, out of sight, out of mind type thing that can help prevent a vehicle from burning to the ground.